to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren. And on my channel, we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm presenting you a list of the 5 designer brands that are absent from my collection and why. Obviously, we all have our favorite brands and then some brands that we are a little bit less in touch with. But these are actually brands that I refuse to buy from. So if you are interested in finding out which ones these are, then please keep on watching. So the first brand is Jacquemus. It is a relatively speaking new brand. It was founded in 2010. And I find the prices to be absolutely ridiculous for such a young brand, which was also founded by such a young guy. I believe the founder is currently like 32, so a baby, especially when it comes to guys. Guys that are 32, oh my god, no. So I find the prices to be way too high for that. I mean, we're talking about like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this like really new brand that has no history whatsoever when comparing it to, you know, brands such as Dior and Chanel. These are obviously brands that have such a big history, and I believe in paying for part of that history. But here there is no history. There is also no like prestige or anything like that, or at least very little. And so that's also why, you know, you are paying so much for like a Chanel bag, for example, for the prestige that's associated with it. And here there is not that at all. So it seems to be, you know, a really trendy brand, but how long will it be trendy for? That's definitely what I would be worried about in buying things from them. Additionally, it's really not my style, in the sense that bags, for example, are very colorful. The shapes are kind of geometrical, kind of have a retro vibe to them. So we're talking like 70s, 80s and 90s. And this really doesn't suit my style. So for that reason, I don't see myself purchasing from Jacquemus ever. So next up we have Bottega Veneta. And this is actually a brand that I have briefly mentioned on my channel in a video titled Luxury Items That I Think Are Not Worth the Money. I was mentioning one of their main bags, one of the bags that they're famous for, which is called the chain pouch, which retails for like $3,000. And this is something that I, in that video, called a potato bag, which I think was quite funny. By the way, if you are interested in seeing the rest of the other luxury items that I think are not worth the money, then I will go ahead and leave the video in the little information link over here for you to see it. But basically what I said about this bag was that it was very basic, had no particular shape to it other than obviously a potato bag. I just didn't think that it was very, you know, classy or feminine or cute or any of those other things. It just seemed like basic, kind of shapeless. And I think that it also comes with a chain, or at least you have the option of adding the chain to it. And personally, I find the chain very bulky. I find it super duper loud, and if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that my personality is very kind of like subdued. You know, I tend to dress like very conservative, classic types of clothes, etc. And so this really doesn't fit my personality. For that reason, I honestly wouldn't consider buying anything from them. I do think that, kind of similar to Jacquemus, it is a brand that is trendy, and that is trendy for now, but I don't think it will last. I think that there will be some point where people will realize that paying like north of $3,000, maybe even $4,000 for, you know, such a bag is completely unreasonable, and I think that it will like fall into forgetfulness at some point, and then, you know, if you have this type of purse, it will be really hard to resell. So for that reason, I really wouldn't be considering buying anything from them. It really doesn't suit my style, and I'm pretty sure that it won't last. And the next brand that I wouldn't consider buying from again is Gucci. And here it is kind of an old brand that has a history, which I obviously like. But I can't really say that I've been liking the direction that the brand has taken. I think that I used to have quite a few items from them, and I used to like them a lot. But that has really changed over the last couple of years. I think that their new direction has these like really loud, kind of in your face prints, especially when it comes to clothing and then bags as well. And that's really not my style in general. I dress quite conservatively in plain clothes that have like a solid pattern. Yeah, in general, like big logos aren't really my thing. And so for that reason, I would say that I've been kind of like staying away from Gucci. I'm also a little bit disappointed about their quality. So I purchased last year a pair of Princetown fur mules that I like. I think that those are kind of like subdued, understated, very classy, very classic. And that's something that I like, and you know, I've been wearing them quite a bit as house slippers, especially in the winter. And I have to say that after like a year of wearing them, they are pretty much ready to go to Goodwill. That is an exaggeration, obviously. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that item has held up over time. I feel like the fur has kind of started to wear off. And so like form little balls that have fallen off the shoes, which is really not convenient. That means I have to vacuum even more. Yeah, and I just think that, you know, for paying something like north of $1,000 for house slippers, I did expect a better quality, especially after only 1 year of wearing them. In general, I'm quite careful with my things, so you know, I haven't mistreated them. I don't have any children or anything that could have potentially played with them. So in general, I'm disappointed with the quality, and I think that the look doesn't really fit my aesthetic anymore, so I will no longer be purchasing anything from them. Next up, we have Golden Goose, and here this brand absolutely infuriates me. $500 for a pair of what appears to be worn shoes. What the hell? Have people completely lost their minds? This is something that personally I will never be able to understand. Honestly, I grew up quite poor. My parents didn't have very much money, so they didn't really pay attention to the clothes that I had. So I often had to come to school dressed in like not so nice clothes with kind of like, you know, maybe holes in them, or like the shoes were really, really worn out. And so considering paying $500 for a pair of shoes that are artificially worn out, to me just will never work. I think maybe if you are born with money and you've never really had worn out shoes, that's really the only like scenario in which I could see this being a good idea, but still I really don't understand it. So for me, this is really not something that I would ever consider buying. I mean, honestly, even if they were $50, I wouldn't get them. It's that bad. Additionally, I think that after, you know, the fact that they are worn out, I think that another problem that I have with them is I just don't like the style of them. I really don't find them like cute, girly, or feminine, or anything like that. And I feel like, you know, this is definitely something that I look for in sneakers, because, you know, sneakers aren't usually super girly. That's not like the point of them. But I usually try to go for sneakers that are kind of cutesy and feminine. I am actually currently looking for a pair of sneakers, so if you have recommendations, I would really appreciate to hear your thoughts, so please let me know in the comments down below. Up until now, I've had a pair of Givenchy sneakers that are so uncomfortable that like I really want to get rid of them and resell them. I've never been able to break them in, and I never will be. So I'm thinking of really letting them go and trying to find something else. So if you do have recommendations, I would appreciate to hear your thoughts, but obviously not Golden Goose. And the last brand that I wouldn't consider buying from is David Yurman. And I know this is a very unpopular opinion of mine. By the way, do let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to do a video on my unpopular opinions, because I think that I have a few. I know this brand is so popular, but honestly, I just don't understand, so just hear me out. Even if you love the brand, just hear me out. I find them very basic. I think that the pieces just don't have like this wow factor for me. I think that they just look kind of very plain, and they don't have the cutesy or feminine look of jewelry. And I think when it comes to jewelry, you know, the point is obviously to kind of like pop up an outfit to make you look more feminine, more girly. And this really doesn't do it for me. And personally, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I am 5'11" or 180 centimeters, so I am very mindful of trying to look feminine, or as feminine as I can. And so for that reason, you know, I'm really trying to have pieces that scream like cutesy girl, blah, 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 blah. And here I just don't see that in the pieces that I've seen from them. I also feel like a lot of them, a majority of their pieces, not all of them obviously, but a majority are sterling silver. And this is something that personally I'm allergic to. So this is something that I've experienced, for example, in, you know, like custom jewelry from Chanel. Like they made my ears hurt so bad. So I really can't go back to that at all. It's really not going to be possible for me. I just don't understand the wow factor. It doesn't seem like these pieces add anything to your look. So why even have them? I mean, the prices are obviously a lot more reasonable than Cartier, Vicier, etc., etc. And that makes sense because the material is also not like, you know, 18K gold. But it's still quite a bit of money. It's still like 500, 1,000, something in that range. And I feel like this money would honestly be better spent elsewhere. I can think of a lot of different other brands of jewelry, or even jewelry that has no brand, that would be a lot more cute and more like girly than that. This is really something that I don't understand. I remember arriving in the US 10 years ago, actually. This year is my 10-year anniversary in the US. And it seemed to be so popular, like everybody liked this brand, but I could never really figure out why, and I still can't, honestly. I think that the prices are high for what it is. Obviously, I understand that you have, quote, the quality that comes with it, and you have a certain warranty of your item, but this is also something that can be found in other brands. You know, a brand of jewelry that I really like, which doesn't cost like thousands and thousands, is Burke's. So Burke's is like the Canadian version of Tiffany. So obviously you have the quality of the products, you have the warranty and everything, you have the customer service, but you're just not paying like Cartier prices. And so if I, you know, didn't have the money for Cartier, or if I wanted something that was a little bit more carefree, I would definitely go towards Burke's and certainly not towards David Yurman. This is something that I just honestly don't get and will never buy from them. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, these were my own opinions, and I get that it's not everybody's way of thinking, and that makes sense. So if you have these items, it really doesn't mean that they're trashy or anything. It just means that it's not my style. Everybody is entitled to their style and their opinions. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.